Good evening, our beloved viewers. Welcome to this English News Edition. Here are the headlines. The head of state presided over the fourth meeting of Council of Ministers. Gather wants the Security Council to speak with a voice for Gaza. Those were the headlines. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. It was today the Council of Ministers was held by the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Margili, on Tuesday, 2024. It's the fourth session of the year, the current one. During the session, the minister approved a number of legal projects included in the session's agenda. For more details, with our colleague Dini Musa.
Rahim, sous la présidence du chef de l'État, son Excellence M. Ismaël Marguerite, s'est tenue la 4e séance du Conseil des ministres en ce mardi 20 février 2024.
Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic, Head of Government, the fourth session of the Council of Ministers took place this Tuesday, February 2024. The following texts were examined and approved. The Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, the first question, communication on National Solidarity Week. The Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity made a presentation to the Council of Ministers on the National Solidarity Week, and more specifically its 2024 edition. Created at the initiative of the President of the Republic, National Solidarity Week aims to highlight the government's strategic priority in terms of its policy to combat poverty and promote national solidarity in line with Vision 2035. Against the backdrop of the implementation of the new National Social Protection Strategy and in line with the strategic guidelines, the theme chosen for National Solidarity Week were consolidate, develop and protect for a more inclusive, supportive and resilient social model. The Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity presented all the actions carried out by her department as part of this week. She emphasized that the social caravan has visited the 5 regions of the interior. In particular, it visits 11 localities, Bayad, Sankal, Omar Jaga, Al Lidar Das, Adaidu, Sagalu, and the 5 capital cities in our interior regions. The aim of all these actions is to support initiatives aimed at improving the living conditions of the most vulnerable section of our population and to highlight the government's strategic priority in the fight against poverty. Financial support has been provided for road agencies in the main towns to the tune of 5 million, women's cooperative involved in waste collections in the main towns in the 5 regions to the tune of 1.8 million, and rural savings and credit cooperative to the tune of 1.2 million, and local community cooperative to the tune of 500,000. She pointed out that these numerous initiatives bear witness to the government's commitment to providing our most vulnerable fellow citizens with the tools and means to play a leading role in their own development. Finally, she emphasized that this event was an opportunity to listen to and exchange with the population and to hear their grievances in various files, starting with social safety net, access to water, rural electrification, health, education, culture, agriculture perimeter, and access to networks, GSM, and Internet. Presidency of the Republic. The second question, draft law on preventing and combating corruption and related offenses. This draft law aims to complete the existing legal arsenals and more particularly law number 3 EN 137L on July 16, 2013, creating the National Commission for the Prevention and Fight Against Corruption. This bill introduces a new legislative provision to improve the regulatory framework in order to effectively fight corruption. These provisions include the establishment of a committee responsible for coordinating entities involved in the fight against corruption, mechanisms for assessing the degree of involvement of entities in the fight against corruption, and the adoption of the new investigation techniques. The bill reinforces the definitions of public officials and introduces new offenses such as active influence, peddling, conflict and interests, obstructions of justice, criminalization of gifts in excess of 20,000, favoritism, corruption is incorporated to the concept, and unjustified advantages in public procurement. It also incorporates the concept of undue advantage and abstention. It lays down rules designed to promote mutual legal assistance. The adoption of this draft law will strengthen the anti-corruption mechanism. Minister of Interior, the third question. Draft law on the organization and functioning of the Djibouti civil society organization. The drafting of this bill on civil society organization marks a significant step forward in the establishment of a legal framework adapted to the active and responsible participation of civil society in Djibouti's development. It defines the powers and obligations of civil society organization. The draft law helps to clarify the legal landscape and promote transparency, accountability within these entities. This initiative is in line with the Djibouti Vision 2035, which aims to modernize and empower civil society, enabling it to play an essential role in policy making and decision making. This draft law on the organization and operation of civil society organizations aims to regulate the activities of civil society organizations, emphasizing their non-profit natures and their contribution to sustainable development, democratic life, and human rights. The Minister of Budget, the first question. The draft law attributions of the land for the profit of the Djiboutian Football Federation. The draft decree concerned the allocations of the 2-hectare plot of land in Dakhel to the federations of the Djiboutian Football Federation. This plot of land is intended for the construction of a sport complex. Communications, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation government spokesman gave a mission report on the participation of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, in the 37th ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union held in Addis Ababa from February 17 to 18, 2024. The theme of this 37th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union for 2024 was Educating an Africa Fit for the 21st Century, building resilient education systems for increased access to inclusive, qualitative, sustainable, and relevant learning for Africa. The Minister Delegate in charge of Digital Economy and Innovation reported on the launch of the Smart Digital Academy, which took place on February 17, 2024. The aim of the Smart Africa Digital Academy is to strengthen the digital skills of young Africans. By 2030, the Minister of Labor gave a mission report on his participation in the 11th editions of the World Government Summit in Dubai, held from February 12 to 14, 2024, in the United Arab Emirates. The Minister for Women and Family reported on her participation in the submission of the fifth periodic report of the Conventions of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against women. The Minister of Youth and Culture reported on her participation in the UNESCO Conference on Cultural and Artistic Education held in Abu Dhabi from February 13 to 15, 2024. The Minister of Trade and Tourism reported on his visit to Geneva to deposit the Republic of Djibouti's instrument of accession to the Geneva Act of the Lisbon Agreement, which took place in Switzerland from February 12 to 14, 2024.
The Minister of Commerce and Tourism reminds the imports of frozen and eggs that all imports said the product must be subject to prior authorization issued by the Domestic Trade Department and before the release for consumptions. This end the Ministry to urge traders to be more responsible, to respect prices in accordance with the current commercial regulation. Organized by the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training in cooperation with the Agency of USAID, consultative workshop on project result promoting reading among the students in the first and early grades basic education was held for the Teacher Training Center. This project aimed to enhancing the reading performance of basic education students from first grade to fifth grade. The Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training is implementing this project in partnership with the American Organization for International Development. High-ranking figures and personnel participating in this consultative workshop. the visit of the National Education and the United States Agency for International Development, and the organization dedicated for human development. Among them, it's the Secretary General of the Ministry of Education, Mr. Mohammed Abdullah Mahyoub, the representative of the United States Agency for International Development, and the project manager. Other representatives from the United States Agency for International Development also attend in this workshop. The World Health Organization and the United Nations Development Fund and civil society, in addition to the experts and inspector, attended also this workshop, whose main objective was to engage the educational community in Djibouti with a positive result, achieving within the project to enhance reading at the students from the 5 years after implementation. For her part, the representative of the United States Agency for the International Development, Ms. Saada Abdallah, said that the success of this project depends on fruitful cooperation between USAID and MINFOP, and in particular, the strong involvement of contact since its implementation. It is clear that the degree project contribute the significant to improve the performance of a student in reading and basic education through the new methods in teaching reading and methods of learning assignments. In his speech, the Secretary General for the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training expressed his sincere thanks to the participant. He also pointed out that the importance of implementing this project that clearly respond the Ministry's aspiration in the file of reading. Said today, after the 5 years from implementation, we are very satisfied with the result obtained thanks to the hard work of all the bodies of the Ministry and also the American Agency for their development. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf for Good announced the opening of registration for the Hajj for these selected in the draw placed by the Registration Direction of Muslim Affairs 2024. The Hajj fees and by person 773,000, including the airfare. The document required for registration are the original passport, yellow block, and a colorful with a color photos. With a white background. The dates of registration or the pilgrims must present themselves to the Directorate of the Muslim Affairs according to the following dates, which are following: the first and 3 arrondissements on February 27, 2024, and the second arrondissements February 26, the fourth arrondissements February 27, and 5 arrondissements in February 28, built in Ali Sabih and Dakhil region, and also Arta region from 29 February 2024, and Tajura and Oboh will be on March 3, 2024. It was yesterday the Great Hall of the People's Palace hosted on February 20 a scientific symposium that shed light on the effort of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to teach the Arabic language in the century African. A fundamental scientific symposium was organized by the Islamic Institute in Djibouti, affiliated with the Imam Mohammed bin Saudi Islamic University, under the high patronage of the ambassador of the custodian of the 2 holy mosques in Djibouti, Mr. Faisal bin Sultan. The symposium was attended by a number of university professors, most of whom are faculty members in the education department, University of Institute, in addition to the advisor to the Minister of Health for the Affairs of Arabs and the Director Islamic Cradles in Djibouti. but also many intellectual and thinker and also the scholar students, in addition to the institute's male and female students. During the symposium, scientific papers were presented on the rules of Imam Muhammad bin Salman at the University of Saudi Islamic Studies in teaching the Arabic language in the Horn of Africa, and about the scholarship and their rules, which is spreading the Arab language education, and the rules of the Institute of Islamic in spreading the Arabic language in the Republic of Djibouti. The role what this educational edifice due to is promoting the culture moderation center in the Arab identity. Still in the fight against smuggling and illicit product, the mobile team of customs and the national police of the 3rd district intercept the seizure of contraband in the afternoon of February 19. The later interrupted the catcalls of 120 packets of a seizure was followed by the action immediately on the grounds where the seized products were intercepted, affirming the determination of the country has decisively eradicated this scourge. The cat smuggling, in particular, pose of a threat to the economic government of official customs and national policy work together to eradicate the illicit network. As part of the campaign to detect young talent, a team of technicians moved to the town of Arta, where the first had the opportunity to meet the issues and discuss with the prefect of Arta region, Mr. Hassan Dabali, after the presentation of the in and out of the campaign by the delegation of Federation. The prefect of Arta region greeted the Federation of Footballs was the king congratulated the Federation for its action and more particularly for this national campaign. He also underlined his support and its commitment to this new approach that the Djiboutian Football Federation had just launched. After the meeting, the prefect of Arta region, Hassan Dabale, kicked off the detections operation for Arta initiative in the region, which saw the participation of more than 200 young people born in Arta region. For the international scenes, the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, has indicated that he wants to see the UN Security Council speak with one voice for Gaza Strip, and the UN spokesperson added that he would like to see the Council of Security to speak with one voice on the issues which itself represent a challenge. The President of Brazil, Mr. Ursula, decided to recall his ambassador to Israeli, and the measure comes after the Brazilian leader was declared a person unknown to the Israeli for his remarks comparing the war raging in Gaza Strip. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.